What's up guys, and welcome to FPL Today. I'm your host JNO, welcome to the channel and welcome to my team for Game Week 3, where I go over how my team did in Game Week 2 and the moves that I'm looking to make for Game Week 3, so you can see how a top 1% player in the last 3 years goes about picking their sides and making their transfers. And Game Week 3 is a very interesting one because of course 2 transfers saved and a lot of people are considering what's called a mini wildcard. But before we get into that, if FPL content is something you want in your subscription box, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. And a massive thank you to 2 new patrons. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to shout you both out in the same video because the amount of patrons coming in right now is actually really heartwarming. Thank you guys so much for the support. And it is Sam New, who has become a Champions League pledge, and also Benga Sofalu, who's also become a Champions League pledge. Both have joined the Discord channel where we're chatting away about FPL content, so thank you guys so much for your support. It's absolutely incredible. Anyway, on to the video, and as always we start off with our star performers, as I didn't make any transfers in, and the star performers for me, well, one stands head and shoulders above the rest, and I think if you captained him after all the news and stuff and rumours around on Twitter and reports by newspapers, if you still captained him, you were a very happy man on Sunday, as Sergio Aguero, now 11.1 million, went and got 3 goals and 1 assist, getting 40 points for me because he was my captain. If you had him just playing, you'd have got 20 points, and to be honest, Sergio Aguero saved my game week, kind of stopped me from having a really big fall from grace from my initial start of 243,000. I'm now around the 300,000 mark. But if I hadn't captained Aguero, it could have been so much worse. He also had 9 attempts on goal with 6 from inside the box, 4 on target, with minute per chance at 8.4 minutes. He had an absolute blinder of a game, and some of his finishes were world class. The other 2 that really stood out for me, Robertson just missing out on 7 points though, is Salah at 13 million getting 9 points for 2 assists, having 6 attempts, 3 from inside the box. However, only 1 of his shots was on target. He created 4 chances as well, and to be honest, at times he looked like the Salah of last year, but also at times he did look a little bit off for me. I don't know if that's the same for you guys. The eye test, he isn't passing with flying colours, which he was last year, and the eye test is something where you watch the game, and just by watching the game without all the numbers kind of affecting your thoughts, how do you think the player is doing? And while he did go and get points and he's got returns 2 game weeks in a row, he didn't look as good as I remember him, and maybe that's just me romanticising about last year, but there's a slight bit of worry about Salah, but his ownership is still high, so he's staying in the side for now. And then Benjamin Mendy at 6.2 million, having a 0.2 million rise now. He looked great. He passed the eye test easily. Mendy getting 2 assists. It could have been 3, but it's only been given as 2. I personally think it should be 2, getting 8 points. No clean sheet, unfortunately, which would have really boosted his points as well. He had 3 attempts on goal, 1 on target, and created 3 chances as well. I think apart from Alonso, Mendy looks easily the most necessary defender in the FPL game right now after 2 game weeks. So my game week 2 performance, you can see the team there. Apart from Robertson and Shaw, so again my defence kind of bailing me out along with Aguero, none of my players did anything. Townsend did hit the crossbar with a very good shot from distance. Bernardo Silva was played out wide on the right. Toussaint and King both didn't return points. Peltier could have got a clean sheet if he played, but for some reason he didn't. And Sanchez unfortunately got an injury after the press conference. Who knows what he might have done in that game, but so far Sanchez has been a bit of a dud for me. And I'll admit that I was just hoping to cover Man United in case they had a really good start to the season and hopefully get those points, and it's not happened. Pogba would have been a better choice. But defence I'm happy with. It's the midfield and strike force that I need to work on. So for the game week, I actually got 75 points, which isn't too bad, seeing as the average was 60 points. It means I am still around the 300k rank at 301,421st. My overall points is 155 points in total, and my game week rank was just over the million mark. Now for me, that's not too bad. I don't mind starting around this area. There's still a chance to catch up with some points, and it's only 2 game weeks in. We've still got 36 game weeks left, and as far as I can remember off the top of my head, this is one of my better starts. Whereas I nearly always finish at the end of the season around the 20k mark, with one season nearing the 10k mark. So I'm quite happy with how this season has started. Game week 2 could have been a lot better if I had stuck with a team I had just before deadline, which had Richarlison and Sadio Mane in, and then I'd have probably been laughing. But still not a bad place to continue the rest of the season from. My game week 3 lineup, it looks like we're going to struggle with goalkeepers in this one. Fabianski and Patricio playing Arsenal and Man City. Probably going to go with Fabianski, but I imagine both are going to concede goals in this one, so keeper's a bit of a write-off. Shaw is going to stay in the side purely because he has returned points, so no reason to ship him out yet, even if Man United don't look great defensively. They are playing Tottenham. I think Tottenham could win that match with the way Man United played against Brighton Hove Albion, but we shall see. It'd be very Man United-like to turn up and really frustrate Tottenham after a game where it looked like they're there for the taking against Brighton Hove Albion. Robertson and Mendy definitely not going anywhere. Robertson again looked dangerous in the game against Palace. Didn't necessarily get any attacking returns, but he did look dangerous. To me, just looks slightly more likely to get points than Trent Alexander-Arnold, but I am monitoring that. And if at any point Trent Alexander-Arnold looks like just as good an option, we will downgrade. And then Mendy. Do we need to say anything about Mendy? He has been a revelation at the start of this season, and to be honest, if we watch the beginning of his season last year, it shouldn't be a surprise to us. Richarlison and Mane, as you can see, have joined the squad. I think Mane's just performing really well. He looks really sharp. Liverpool are the type of side that, for me, can beat the big sides, and I feel like I need that coverage, and Mane for me is the best option to replace Sanchez. Then Richarlison's coming in because he's doing well, he's getting higher and higher ownership, and to be honest, Everton's fixtures look good. That's why I brought Toussaint in, but Toussaint just hasn't done as well as Richarlison. Toussaint probably will be leaving the side in the next couple of game weeks, as I now have Richarlison, but we're going to just wait and see what Everton do against Bournemouth with Toussaint. Salah stays in the side, potentially captain choice for the Brighton Hove Albion game. Then we've got Bernardo Silva, again, not as enthralled with him as I was initially, especially with the rotation in midfield. But Aguero, I'm happy to have in my side against Wolves. And Joshua King is the one that potentially could be a transfer that I take a minus for, because King has looked pretty poor for me, especially compared to his strike partner Callum Wilson. And then the bench, if Peltier doesn't play, Wan-Bissaka's not playing because he got sent off. I've only got Stevens as a sub, which is another reason why I might be making a transfer. I don't want to spend transfers on my bench though, especially a minus, so King is most likely the move I'm going to make and then hope that most of my players play. The one plus point is Stevens looks pretty nailed on in that Brighton Hove Albion side, not that I think he's going to get any points. We then look onto the watch list, and to be honest, this first page is the transfer list that I've made because I've already made them because I knew Mane was going to go up in price, and I think Richarlison will go up in price as well. So Mane and Richarlison come in after a good game week 2 and a good game week 1. Mane at 9.8 million now. 10 points he got last game week in game week 2 from 1 goal. He had 2 attempts, 2 from inside the box, both on target, and created 3 chances. He looks dangerous and potentially getting more space because teams are marking Salah. And then Richarlison, 9 points, 1 goal from 2 attempts, 1 inside the box, 1 on target, and 2 chances created. I would like higher underlying stats for Richarlison, but he's returning points, he's scoring goals, and he looks on form, enjoying himself, and that's the kind of player I want in my side. And then watch list wise, we are considering an extra transfer, taking a -4. And the players I'm thinking of are Callum Wilson and Danny Ings. Both have looked dangerous to me. Callum Wilson's had 2 good game weeks. Ings had a good substitute appearance in game week 1 and then a good game week 2. Wilson getting 6 points, whereas Ings got 7 points from game week 2. Both got 1 goal. Attempts, Wilson had less attempts, but he got both of his attempts on target and scored from 1 of them, and he had 2 chances created, whereas chance created is lower for Ings at 1. However, Ings had 6 attempts, 6 from inside the box, but only 2 on target, so he missed with 4 of his chances. So I don't know exactly where I'm going to go with this. I like Southampton's next 3 fixtures, whereas I believe Bournemouth do have a tough fixture coming up and then an easy run again. So it might be Ings first and then a move to Wilson potentially on the other side for Toussaint. Maybe going with only 1 premium price striker, which is something I didn't necessarily think would be the case. Aubameyang is still in my thoughts though, because Aubameyang definitely got chances against Chelsea, just couldn't convert them, and Mkhitaryan's also looking good if I want to swap someone out for Bernardo Silva. So we're going to wait until closer to the press conferences and the deadline to make that decision, but right now, most likely King is out for one of these 2. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode as always. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, it helps the channel out so much, and thank you to the new Patreons, Benga Sofalu and Sam New. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you guys are interested in joining the Discord and the Patreon page, links are in the description down below, as are various other links. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.